Hello, Buckaroo Banzai?
You a messenger? What you got here?
No, wait a minute. I need to see Buckaroo Banzai in person. My name is John Parker. Identify yourself, nah?
Blue Blazer regular, Pinky Carruthers. Sorry, John, everybody needs see Buckaroo. Later.
Hello, cadets. Welcome to another episode of the Big Monster Briefing Room. I always love to watch the beginning of this season's opening to the show because it has our friend Billy Vera on it, who came and did the first show of the season, which was Buckaroo Banzai, across the eighth dimension. Anyway, I digress. Let me go ahead and bring up my go look it up on YouTube here. It's a good episode. It's an awesome episode. He tells us all kinds of behind-the-scenes things. Anyway, again, I digress. Let me bring up Major Hazzard and Sergeant. So
you cut out for a minute there, so you know we didn't really hear your introduction. So
did I cut out?
Yeah, just for a second though. So maybe you could just introduce this again.
What I was saying is I always enjoy watching the opening of the show, which, by the way, we only have like three or four movies before the end of this season. So this is episode 135 actually, and our opening starts with Billy Vera, as Pinky Carruthers, Blue Blazer regular.
Yeah. He's a good friend of the network, a good friend of the show. We love him. He was even on this show,
Yeah, he came on the show and he helped us to dissect Buckaroo Banzai, the movie, the cult film now, which was a lot of fun. And again, I was just telling our viewers to go watch that episode. Go look back at that episode. It was the first episode of this season. But we're almost done with this season now. We're on episode 135. And it's a very special show this time because it's Godzilla. And not just Godzilla, it's the second movie in the Godzilla series, in number 2. And it was in black and white when it was released, and again in black and white when it was re-released in America as Gigantus the Fire Monster. I don't even want to hazard a guess as to what. Sorry, hazard. As to why. But yeah, the English version was. It was more faithful to the original story than Godzilla King of the Monsters, where they had to take out the news reporter that was following the Japanese news reporter that was following Godzilla and put in Raymond Burr. And Raymond Burr was watching Godzilla, and they used a bunch of doubles, and they made a bunch of new footage, and so that was my Raymond Burr impersonation. So, and Havoc and I were talking about this before the show. What did they add that was kind of annoying?
Well, I must say, the dubbing was really terrible. And there's dialogue which does not match the lips. And also, there are characters that disappear after a while. We don't know what happened to them.
Yeah, well, that happens in both films, actually. I'm not sure. I don't speak Japanese. And this timeline that we are showing in full color for the first time anywhere is actually the Japanese version. But there is a character. Kobayashi is one of the main characters. He's one of the pilots. His girlfriend just disappears halfway through the film. Godzilla attacks Anguirus in Osaka. They destroy a good portion of Osaka. And I kept wondering to myself, did she get killed? because he just disappears. She doesn't show back up again.
Yeah,
weird.
I think she. I don't know what happened to me a while ago. I got all weird there. She she just. I figured she must have died or got killed or something by.
Snorting that Mothra dust. Yeah, that does that to you.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, you wind up getting badly dubbed. But yeah, so I thought I'd lost my mind there from
do strange things with your dubbing.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. See, that's what happens if you drink all that peach tea too.
It tastes like peach pits.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. But
the main thing that made me laugh when we were talking before the show was you said that they added a bunch of narration that really sucked.
Yeah.
I gotta agree with you. It's like they're telling us the obvious, we're seeing it happen, and he's like, and then we did this, and Godzilla came, and
yeah, I flew over the island and I saw his plane and it looked okay. So I was looking for a place to land, and there he is waving at me.
We're seeing that. You don't have to explain it. Come on.
Why are you telling us what's happening in the movie? Do you think we're that stupid? I don't know.
Even though they use Keelug's voice, for the main character, which is Shoichi Tsukioka, played by Hiroshi Koizumi, who usually plays like scientists and doctors in the later films, like Godzilla, Mothra versus Godzilla, which we did this season, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, which we did I think last season. Yep. And he actually shows up in one of the later Godzilla films, very old, Godzilla Tokyo SOS, which we have not done on the show yet, but we will eventually. We'll get to it. The girlfriend, shit, I had her name right here. Gosh darn it. Yasuko disappears. She just she doesn't show up when they decide to move their operation to Hokkaido.
Yeah.
And again, Hokkaido is actually used in the next film as well. Godzilla versus King Kong versus Godzilla, which was in 1962. This was in 55 when it originally came out. It was the sequel to Godzilla. Godzilla did so well. Gojira, I should say, did so well in Japan. They wanted to crank out a quick sequel, make some more money, make some more yen, Japanese yen.
Yeah.
This was the result of that, and it's a very simple story. There's not a lot to it, actually. I mean, it's about a couple of guys that fly airplanes, looking for fish, to tell the company's fishing boats, hey, the fish are over here, go this way.
There's spotters.
So there it is, the title card for it, Godzilla Raids Again. Again, released in America as Gigantus the Fire Monster. They call Godzilla Gigantus in it. Anguirus is the first monster that Godzilla has fought in the cinema. And that's what's funny is later in like the 1970s, he becomes Godzilla's drinking buddy. He becomes like his best friend on Monster Island. But the first monster he ever fought was Anguirus. It was a spiny-backed dinosaur. They call him Anguillus in the Japanese movies, short for Anguillosaurus. But for some reason we call him Anguirus in the American versions, and they switched the roars in the dubbing of the Gigantus the Fire Monster. So Godzilla goes like Anguirus. Anguirus sounds like Godzilla. It's weird. Anyway, so here we see our main character, Shoichi Tsukioka, who's flying his airplane, trying to spot fish for these. There he is, spotting some fish for these fishing boats that work for this. He works for this company, a fishing boat company.
Yeah.
His girlfriend is one of the radio operators. She's the one that translates the message or sends the message to the boats. And later, we have a scene where Kobayashi, the other pilot, actually throws down a message down to the ship. Now, this guy's got to have some great freaking aim. Do you know how hard it is to throw a message down from a moving plane to a moving boat. Anyway, we'll talk about that when we get to it. So here she is. She's very cute. Hidemi Yamaji is the character's name, played by Setsuko Wakayama. And she's a cutie. She's a 1950s cutie.
Yep.
So here we got Kobayashi. He's the other pilot. And they're good friends. And again, his girlfriend is the other radio operator there. We were talking before the show. You were saying they butchered the lines of the movie, but for some reason, I heard you say she's the butch girl. I was like, what? What did you just say? But no, you were saying they butchered the lines. So she
butchered the lines, and yep. But
yeah, they're both the girlfriends of the two pilots, and they giggle and cavort and every whatnot.
Yep.
So Kobayashi has some problems with his airplane, and he has to take it down. And this is the head of the company here. He looks kind of like Floyd the Barber from Mayberry.
He does. Yeah.
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's like a Japanese version of Floyd. Hey, his plane's going down. Oh. I just see him. So anyway, it looks like
if they'd used that voice.
if they'd used that voice, it would have been a lot better, I think. So he's very concerned. He looks very concerned. He's a cool boss. Yeah. So he's like, okay, tell Tsukioka to go looking for his plane, make sure he finds him, and we'll work from there. So there's one little island there, in the middle of nowhere, and so Tsukioka finds his friend Kobayashi, and where his plane is landed. Luckily, it didn't crash. Now you would think flying over an island that small, you would see two giant monsters fighting on top of it, but they don't.
Nope.
Neither one of them. But the colorization on this is beautiful. It's really nice looking, and I'm very pleased with how it came out. So he lands his plane, and Kobayashi has already started a fire there on the beach.
And I see that Kobayashi started a fire. Well, I found a place to land.
Exactly. Come on, guys. So they're drying out their leather coats. I mean, is it really cold here? I don't know. And they hear the monsters roar. And those are the monster roars. And they look up, and boom, up above them, Godzilla. Another Godzilla, because the first Godzilla was destroyed by the oxygen destroyer, but there's another Godzilla, and I have a theory about this. This is a female Godzilla because she had the son of Godzilla, Minya. Anyway, so they're fighting, and the guys are trying to keep from big boulders falling on their heads.
Yeah,
they put their leather jackets over their heads. Yeah, that's gonna work.
Because that's gonna protect them. them leather jackets are tough, but
I hope this leather jacket protects me from the giant boulders falling around me.
So I'm surprised they didn't say that.
And I looked at Kobayashi, and we both had the same idea. We hoped that our leather gear, flight gear, would protect us from the giant boulders falling around our feet. So some lovely acting here.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to envision, two guys in suits looking like giant monsters. And they do a pretty good job of it. So here we see Godzilla's first fight, which is this brawl on this island. Where Anguirus came from, no idea. Well, we can only assume that it was radiation again that brought him back. I was thinking about this today. There are several different kinds of kaiju in the Japanese canon. We came with, Rodan and Anguirus are actually dinosaurs, and Godzilla too are dinosaurs that were reanimated because of radiation, atomic radiation. And then you got, like King Kong, who's like just a mutant ape, and Ibira, a giant lobster, which is just kind of a giant mutated lobster. And then you have King Ghidorah, which they threw in later, and Gigan, which are space aliens that attack the Earth. So, just again, I'm stating the obvious. That's my narration. That doesn't need to be here. So again, these guys are about to be flattened, and luckily, as happens a lot of times in the Japanese Toho films, monster films, the monsters just fall into the sea. That's how they end a lot of these. They just fall into the sea. It's like, okay, we're not going to see them for a while again in a movie.
Yep. There they go.
There they go. Whoa! Last one in the pool. Yeah. Now, this is the giant water tank that they use in just about every Godzilla movie ever made inside some point. And they just put a big rock formation on one corner of it and just dump these poor guys that are in these rubber suits into the water. And that's it. The fight over. We don't see him for a while. So Kobayashi and Tsukioka go back to Japan, go back to Osaka. That's where their company is.
Yeah,
their fishing company, and they go to the head Osaka capital, whatever it is, which is there in the slide. And they are going to help a doctor. Let me find his name. Dr. Kayohei. Yep. No, that's Yamane. Dr. Tadako. Dr. Tadakaro.
There you go. See? I told you, butchering them names.
there you go. You didn't want to do that, and then here I did it. Played by Masao Shimizu, who actually did like softcore Japanese porn films after this. It kind of shocked me when I was looking on IMDb. And he is joined, and they point out, show me where Godzilla touched you on the on the map. Kobayashi points out the Anguillosaurus in the book. Oh yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Well,
Anguillosaurus.
So
now we have the Godzilla and the Anguillosaurus. Now in the dub, it's like, oh, we have Gigantus Monster 1 and Gigantus Monster 2.
Well, I give it a name, but yeah, before all, I don't know if they do this in the Japanese version, but in the American version, when the two pilots show up, they're like, we reported immediately to the police, and the police gathered. I'm like, if this had been an American film, these two would have been locked up. Oh, you saw monsters, huh?
Well, but Dr. Yamane shows them that Godzilla just attacked, just a year
he shows them the
and all the trouble, yeah. And that's a movie that he's showing there, showing Godzilla attacking. So Yamane gives credit to their story, and they're a little miffed because there's no oxygen destroyer anymore to kill Godzilla. Oh, how are we going to stop him now?
Oh yeah, because
how are we going to stop this new Godzilla?
Yeah.
And again, this Godzilla looks a little different from the original Godzilla. I mean, the puppet looks the same. The Godzilla puppet.
Yeah.
But the neck is longer. So the head is a little higher. The head's ears are a little bigger. The teeth are a little different. So yeah, he looks a little different from the other Godzilla. And again, I think it's a girl. I think it's a girl Godzilla. Anyway, that's my theory. So yeah, Dr. Yamane has a terrible flashback to when Godzilla attacked and destroyed Tokyo, and now it looks like Osaka is in danger. So Tsukioka and his girlfriend Hidemi, whose father is actually the guy that looks like he's the manager or the owner of the company, the guy that looks like Floyd.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's her father. So Tsukioka is set. He's going to be the man someday. So the military goes out looking for Godzilla to see if they can find him, and or this other monster. And they're like, well, what are we going to do now? What's Godzilla is going to come? What's going to happen? Well, we can just wait. That's all we can do. So they decide to go out to the nightclub. Hidemi and Shoichi. And so we have a lovely little nightclub scene, which I think was cut from the American version.
No, it's in there.
What's that?
It's in there.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the
American
American version.
I think they added some scenes in there.
Oh, really?
Yep. there's one scene where you see this. It's obviously an American. I'm like, did they throw in Indiana Jones in there? Because it looks like the opening of Temple of Doom.
Godzilla. Why did it have to be Godzilla?
Yeah. Yeah, all this is in there. Yep.
Short round. Get us out of here. Oh, God. I can't believe I went there. Anyway, so they hear on the speaker, Godzilla has been sighted outside in Osaka Bay. So there's a huge, everybody is just steps all over each other trying to get to the door, trying to get out of there. There's a huge commotion. Again, when a giant monster is about to attack, you want to get the hell out of there. So that's exactly what happens.
What's funny is the radio voice, and again, I just have to go off the American version. He says, now everybody please move in an orderly fashion. Yeah. Yeah. Nobody panic. It's okay. It's just a giant monster coming.
Don't step on my neck.
Exactly. And this happens.
Poor Hidemi. Was almost trampled to death. So, yeah. So they show the planes coming over to, I don't know why they send planes. They know that it didn't work in the first movie. Planes were very ineffective against Godzilla, but we'll send some anyway. Let's try it. We got some new missiles. Let's try them. So here's where Godzilla rears his ugly head out of the tank. But the music for this movie, they didn't want to spend as much money as they spent on the first one. So the music in this movie was done by Mamoru Sato instead of Akira Ifukube, who was more expensive. So anytime they cut the budget on a Godzilla film, Mamoru Sato usually was hired to do the music. This happened with Godzilla, Son of Godzilla. This happened right after that with right before that with Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, Ebirah, Horror of the Deep. So there it is. Again, the music is decent. It's not bad. It's not Ifukube, but it's not bad. And there's the Godzilla puppet. I love the Godzilla puppet. I love the Godzilla puppet.
Yeah.
And they're shooting flares, dropping flares, and they're trying to lure him away from the city, and it works. They drop these flares, and Godzilla he's mystified by them. He goes right after them, and the guys are like, look. And then we show the panic, which they like to do in these films, show the people trying to evacuate. And again, that's my advice to you. If one of these big monsters hits your town, evacuate. Get the hell out of there. Just like a Title 10 hurricane. Get the freaking hell out of its way.
There you go.
Especially if they breathe, atomic fire.
Yeah, especially that.
Okay, so he's starting to move away. He's starting to walk away. He's going out into the bay again. So they're very happy. Poor little lighthouse there. The guys must have been pissing their pants. Oh, look how close he is. And the guys are laughing. He's a stupid dinosaur. He walked away with a flare. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. That's going to piss people off. Anyway.
Well, now we lost the Japanese.
I think it was I think it was a decent representation. I'm sorry.
It was.
So
still worse than the dubbing on the movie. So
they drive Hidemi home, get her out of harm's way. They live up on the rich mountain where they can overlook the city being destroyed. And Kobayashi looks at Tsukioka and goes, "Hey, let's go get close to the danger." So they drive off, and of course she's there in her fur coat, looking like, "What the hell, you guys?" And they drive off. And of course, close to the danger is her father, who's the head of the company. He's worried about his company. And then we cut to we cut to a wagon that's taking prisoners. I guess it's moving prisoners from one prison to the other. and the one that has the thing over around his face, like the bandage, or like he's got a toothache or something. That guy's actually in several of the Godzilla movies. Most identifiable is the next one, King Kong versus Godzilla. He's the interpreter that goes to the island with them. He say you'll go now. That's an actual impersonation of how he sounded in King Kong versus Godzilla, the American version. Now, the guy on the left, also in a couple of Godzilla movies, he's the head of all this gang here. And he's the guy that tries to kill the queen in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. He says, Melimoth, you must go and kill her. That's that guy. He had a mustache then, though, a couple of years later. So anyway, they have this plan where they're going to take over the guard in the back because there's like 10 of them, and there's one guard with one gun in the back. So they do that. And then the guys up front are like, hey, what's going on back there? We got your guy back here. And they stop the wagon, and the guys shoot the lock off the inside of the wagon, and they escape. They get out.
Take it on the lam. That's right. All you need is
Sato should have done a little escape music there. So
yep.
The police shoot at a couple of guys, take them down. You know, a couple of the guys are taken down. Shoot them in the kneecap, that kind of thing. They can't get away now. But like 6 of them get away out of the 10. And they go into the three of them go in one direction, 3 of them go in another direction, and they steal a petrol truck. Wonder what could go wrong if you steal a petrol truck. The other 3 run to Osaka, which is kind of far away. But there they go.
There you go. They're just hooking it.
And that's the guy with the thing around his face, and the bald guy that I mentioned, the 2 guys that end up in later Godzilla movies. And I'll tell you, I didn't check this, but the 3rd guy looks like a guy that was on the show Kung Fu. He looks like one of the masters on Kung Fu, maybe, but very young, much younger. I don't know if that's right or not. But Key Luke, who was also on the show as the headmaster, did a voice for this. So,
yep.
Might be that he just looked like him. So anyway, they steal a Caltrex truck, which is a petrol truck, gasoline. And guess who shows up on the scene? Sukioka and Kobayashi. The police commandeer their car.
Follow that truck.
What are the odds?
I right.
What are the odds? So yeah, they're right there in the middle of the action, and they chase after these 3 guys that have taken over the Caltrex truck, and you know what's going to happen. Godzilla's heading towards flares. Hey, let's start up a nice big fire around the city. Bring him right back to Osaka, and that's exactly what happens. Yeah. They lose control of the truck because the guy that's driving the truck is insane. And I'll just wait. There we go. They're chasing after him, and they flip the truck, and it catches on fire, and it just happens to catch fire at a gas refinery on the edge of Osaka there. Ah! Look at the face of the driver, and look at the face of the passenger.
Why does the guy look like the guy from he looks like that guy from Oh Brother Where Art Thou? Delbert.
Tim Blake Nelson?
Tim Blake Nelson there with that big
wow.
I'm with you, fellas. But yeah, this is a long ass chase though. It's like
I cut it down to about 5 slides.
Yeah. It's like, okay, let's move this along now.
Yeah, it's like a Shaggy Scooby-Doo movie where they're going in one door and out the other. And
yeah.
They're driving around here, driving around there. Yeah, they do that. And again, this film is only like an hour and 10 minutes, I think.
Had to pad it somewhere.
So yeah, there's a nice big fire at the oil refinery, and it's going to get worse. And everybody goes, uh-oh, and they all look towards Godzilla because they know what's going to happen. And, of course, there's the puppet. He goes right back towards Osaka. Fire! So
yeah, there you go. There he is. Turning around.
Nakajima-san, the guy that played Godzilla for the first like 20 years. He's in the suit, and he comes right back. And now, in this, it looks like these are superimposed explosions. And I'm guessing that Tsuburaya said, "You know what? That looks fake. I don't like the way that looks. We're never going to do it again." Because the later films, like the next 2 or 3 films, when they shoot at Godzilla, it's real. I mean, you can see that he's actually taking hits on the suit. And in Mothra versus Godzilla, which we did a couple of shows ago, yeah, the suit actually caught fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you gotta admire Nakajima-san for putting up with all that.
Yeah.
Just to be Godzilla. But hey, he was Godzilla. Not the first one, but the first and the second one. So yeah, this is Tsuburaya action at its best. Little toy tanks and little toy rocket launchers doing their thing.
Yeah.
And there's the Godzilla puppet. Defiant. Look how defiant he is. In color.
That's a great shot. Yep.
Yeah. I noticed his teeth kind of jut forward a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a gnarly puppet there. And then the plane comes in, and of course they're firing rockets at him, and he zaps it. It's Godzilla. Take that. Take that, says the Godzilla puppet. And it blows up. And this shot actually ends up in the opening credits for Gigantus the Fire Monster, too. They really like that effect, I guess.
Yeah.
The plane hitting the water and then exploding. Nice big water jet. So Floyd, what's his name? Kohi Yamaji. He's like, oh shit, there goes our jobs. There goes our company. And then Anguirus shows up. And Godzilla puppet is like, and the fight, it throws down.
Yep.
It's time to whoop ass. Now, also different in this film are the fight scenes. Everything that they do in fights and stuff in the Godzilla movies is usually done in slow motion. Not super slow motion, but just slow it down enough to where it looks realistic for giant monsters and guys in suits.
Yeah.
But in this one, they actually kind of sped up the camera, I think, a little bit, just to see what because they're really herky jerky, fast moving, especially Anguirus when he makes his attacks. And again, we got some superimposed explosions, and they wisely decided not to do either of these things again because it just doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting to be different. It's interesting, but it's I'm used to the other Godzilla movies where everything is kind of in slow motion when they fight. So they figured that out in the next one, King Kong versus Godzilla, and from then on, they just slowed the camera down just a little bit, just enough. So Anguirus, he fires his. This is interesting. He fires his atomic breath at Anguirus, and at this point, Anguirus fends it off. He just kind of shakes it off. So obviously, they come from the same, atomic ilk, whatever you want to call it. But later, when his soft underbelly is upward, he fires again and he kills him. Anyway, but we have a nice long fight here. And again, the guys are all watching from their perch. If I was that close, I'd be like, we should probably get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Like a tornado, it could turn, and start heading this way real fast. And then, one of the big oil refinery tanks blows. I imagine they could feel the heat on that. And that debris. So at that point, Florida's like, oh, my oil. And they have to hold him back. Don't jump. Don't kill yourself. Come on, we have other companies. We have a place in Hokkaido. And then they show Hidemi, the worried girl back at home, looking at the fire from a distance. Uh-oh, I think I just lost a boyfriend and a dad. She doesn't look happy.
No.
I should have told him I'm pregnant. Then maybe he would have stayed. Damn you, Kobayashi. I'm just making shit up now. By the way, folks, this show is not for kids. We cuss, we show things. I mean, there's nothing really gory here in this particular one, but yeah, we show some movies that are pretty nasty and gnarly, and I just wanted to point that out. I have to do that little disclaimer during the show. So Godzilla and Anguirus still squaring off. Some nice fighting footage. Again, they want to give the fans, I'm a bit childish, but I think I'm considered an adult. I wish I'd known the context before that comment. I wish I'd read the comments more. Hazard, can you tell me what the hell what's going on with that?
I think we would talk. I don't remember the quip, but Cadet Ross will let us know. And Patricia reminded us, who's left to piss off now, because we've been pissing off the.
We've pissed off everybody. We have. We
the
really
Norwegians,
have. We've been socially unacceptable.
Yeah, all of them.
I'm going to be cancel culture. Culture canceled. I'm sorry, culture canceled. So.
It was only a matter of time, General, to be honest. Only a matter of time.
In this day and time, yeah. You know what? But I'll tell you right now, in my own defiant way, just like this Godzilla puppet here, I think that sometimes when I do these things, in the sake of comedy, something amusing, I think I think I'm justified in what I do.
That says it all right there. Oh, there he is. So Cadet Ross says, your disclaimer had me worried when you said this is not for children.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I don't need paying attention to what I'm saying, I guess. So, yes, you are an adult, sir. You run a bed and breakfast. I know a lot about you already. I've got a file on you. So, yeah. Some pretty impressive monster fight action. And again, they wanted to give the fans what they wanted, what they showed up for. Nice big fight. So now, originally, that spiny back of Anguirus's is supposed to split in the middle. It can open and fly up. You see some of the pictures. They cut that out actually, and he can actually hit opponents with that back, which would be damaging. But for some reason, I guess they didn't like the look of it. They maybe they didn't want to show a naked Anguirus. I don't know. But they decided. But there are some photos, promo photos for this film that show him doing that. And I always wondered about that when I was younger. And they just decided not to use it. They decided, that didn't look good. So they never used it again, and they never showed it in this film. So they're fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. Again, I wanted to show all the cool action here in color. And we're about to get to a slide with the 3 convicts in a minute that ran all the way to Osaka. They ran down the mountain all the way to Osaka to watch the fight.
We kind of forgot about them. They're just like
somehow they're completely oblivious to the fact that there are 2 monsters fighting in Osaka.
Yeah.
You would think that we see, flames over the skyline. There they are.
Yep.
Flames over the skyline. You would avoid that city. Oh, that city's on fire. We better not escape there. But here they are, and they round the corner. Again, totally oblivious to this until now, and then this is the moment when we get the reveal. And they look around, and boom, there's Anguirus and Godzilla fighting, and they're like, "Oh!" So surprised. They see the Godzilla puppet, and they know it's going to be bad. You better get the freaking hell out of here. Yep. There's the Anguirus puppet. There they are. There's the reaction. That poor guy's tooth thing that he had around his face fell around his neck. He was so scared.
Yep.
So they hustle their ass down into the subway. They'll be safe there. You know, that's under the ground, right? They'll be safe there.
Yep.
And the monsters continue to fight. And there's a I don't know, a canal there. And they end up in the canal. And canal overflows into the subway. So these three guys who did their best to escape the law, I fought the law and Godzilla won. The water comes down there in a huge, huge wave and just washes them onto the electric tracks.
Yeah. Mm-mm-mm.
And I even show you the shot of them and then the shot of the water sweeping them away. The shot on the left is them trying to get away from the water now. And they didn't make it. Now, they kind of did the same thing in Godzilla 1985, where they have a guy, I don't think it's in the American version, I think they cut it, but they have a guy that's trying to get away from Godzilla who's attacking the city, and he keeps going to places, and Godzilla keeps showing up. And he's like, ah! And he keeps running, going in different directions, and Godzilla keeps going where he's at. It's pretty funny, actually. So, okay, the fight is winding down now. Anguirus is getting tired. But some lovely shots. They finally destroy a nice pagoda set that's built by the masters that do this stuff. They build up these models to destroy. And then Godzilla gets his chompers around the neck of Anguirus. He finally gets him in the right position and he bites into his neck. And he bites down real hard.
Yeah.
We got the blood.
Yeah.
And that's about the goriest thing you're going to see on this show. And he flips Anguirus over onto his back into the water. And again, I guess his underbelly is not as radioactive resistant. So Godzilla takes a couple of steps forward, and the puppet head looks very evil here when he dispatches Anguirus with his atomic breath. There's one shot here, the one in the middle. Look at his eyes.
Yeah.
This must have been God darn it. I'm fighting for the word now. When the guys that made the movie Godzilla Mothra King Ghidorah, MKG, the Godzilla eyes were white. They were just plain white and soulless. I think that was a kind of a nod to this, I think. This was inspiration. That's the word I was looking for. It was inspiration for that, I think. Because he really looks evil and soulless in that picture there.
Yeah.
He's radioactive, destroying Anguirus.
Yeah.
My drinking buddy.
And see the blood on his teeth and everything. It's
Yeah. That came out in the colorization.
yeah.
I know. I was as surprised as anybody. If Godzilla had been wearing a hat, it would have been orange, though. Could have been wearing a jacket. He would have had pink sleeves. But again, we go back to Hidemi, the worried female at home, looking at the TV going, oh, my God, there goes my boyfriend and my dad.
City's in ruins.
She looks worried.
Yeah. Oh, yep.
And then we get the after shot, which is standard in these films. They show you an after shot of the city after the monsters have come through, had their fun. And I looked at the city, which was now in cinders, and I said to myself, where am I going to work now? Damn that narration. So yeah, the guy that runs the branch in Hokkaido shows up, and they're rummaging through the office to see if they can salvage anything, because Anguirus' head came through there or something. And the two pilots are there, Tsukioka and Kobayashi. They all survived. Surprisingly, it was very close to the action, but they survived. And Hidemi is very look at that face. She's very cheerful about the future. We're going to work at Hokkaido. Now, the other girl, Kobayashi's girlfriend, disappeared. Yasuko is gone. I don't know if she died during the fight with Anguirus and Godzilla. Somebody might be able to put a comment down here on our YouTube archive later, maybe. Maybe they could tell us if they speak Japanese that she died or what. She never shows up in the rest of the movie, except a picture of her that Kobayashi leaves, and he's got his like little black book with him. He's got her picture, and she's got pigtails in the picture. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder that they say anything in the dialogue, in the Japanese dialogue.
Yeah, because she's. It would make more sense that he would give up his life at the end of this movie, and that's what he does, folks. I'm sorry, it's a spoiler, but again, we're the cliff notes. We're going to show the movie from beginning to end anyway, so we're the cliff notes of horror movies, monster movies.
Yeah.
It would make more sense that he would, sacrifice himself if his girlfriend got killed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so he's out there. Kobayashi's out there, and he's trying to do the job again. It's a much colder in this region. It's farther north. So Kobayashi actually throws a message down, a little scroll. He throws it down there to the ship. Again, not easy to do. Kobayashi must have an incredible aim, must have an incredible eye. Hey, take that. Ah, damn you, Kobayashi. I mean, he gets it on the deck. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's like,
that's amazing. That's his superpower. That's where he got hired. And so there's the message. We can't read it because it's in Japanese, but there it is. Fish close by. That's my translation.
Yep.
Fish straight ahead. So at this point, everything's normal, and they're, hey, Kobayashi, hey! And, they're laughing on the radio, and Tsukioka is like, hey, I'm coming out to join you, don't worry. And he's like, oh, okay. And there's Hidemi. He said, I'll see you tonight. That's what he said, because they're going to have dinner tonight with some old buddies of theirs from the military. Tajima is a good friend of theirs. And he works with the Osaka Defense Force. And Captain Terasawa is there, too. He comes and joins their party. And Kobayashi explains this to Hidemi, because she doesn't know who the hell these guys are. Who are these guys? Oh, these are our old drinking buddies from the military force. Our days in the academy. So, yeah, a lot of sake going around. They're having a good time. Unfortunately, Ren Yamamoto's character is not given a name. Ren Yamamoto is another friend of theirs. He's a very interesting-looking actor. You'll see him as the landing craft commander. That's what he's listed as in IMDb, landing craft commander. So there's Terasawa coming out to join them. And now she's on board. Oh, okay. Okay, so we can drink now. So yeah, they go and they do the Japanese steakhouse thing. They all sitting on their knees, drinking lots of sake. This was before the days of karaoke, folks. There he is, Ren Yamamoto on the bottom right. He's in a lot of these Toho films. His most interesting role, I think, was in War of the Gargantuas. He was the ship captain at the beginning of War of the Gargantuas. Hey, you guys! What a great line. He's got a big octopus tentacle around him. He's being attacked by giant octopus, and he turns his head over his shoulder and goes, "Hey, you guys!" You gotta love American dubbing, English dubbing. All right, so they find out that Godzilla has been spotted close to Hokkaido during dinner, so they decide they're going to be looking for Godzilla instead of looking for fish for a while. So Sugioka goes out, and Kobayashi's there like, "Hey, I'm here with your girlfriend. Ha ha ha! What are you gonna do about it?" I think that's what he said. Anyway, so he leaves, and he leaves his book there, and of course Hidemi goes right in there, and ooh, she finds porn pictures. You know, look at her, look at his girlfriend with the little girl braids in the
That's very yeah.
the Japanese schoolgirl outfit. And the picture of him, Kobayashi, looks so dumb there. It's like, duh. I'm sorry. I'm calling it what as I see it. So anyway, Sugioka sees Godzilla going through the water there, and you can see little like icicles in the water there, like little
icebergs.
Little icebergs, yeah, in the water. So it's cold.
Yep.
And again, that fits into what we see at the end of this film, and of course, that's how Godzilla comes back in King Kong versus Godzilla. He breaks out of an iceberg. So he uses atomic breath to break out of an iceberg. So anyway, so Sugioka comes back to the base there, and he says, "Let me ruin your map with my chalk." And no, he shows him where Godzilla is, and they send the defense forces out. And Kobayashi goes out, and he spots Godzilla walking through a valley of ice. And look at that neck! My goodness, that's a long neck.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, the neck was shortened, I think, for King Kong versus Godzilla. But by 1968, he got the long neck back again, which is my favorite Godzilla suit, is the 1968 suit. Anyway, I digress. Kobayashi sees Godzilla, does a little flyby.
Godzilla looks like he's just shaking his fist at him, like, "Hey, you!
I'll show you, you big green stupid lizard. You should be. Damn it, that joke would have worked well if I could remember that goddamn word. You should be hibernating."
There you go.
Lizards and snakes don't like the cold, folks. They hibernate. So Godzilla doesn't seem to have a problem with it. Oh, yeah, I'm surrounded by ice. Yeah, fuck you. You know. So Ren Yamamoto and his group show up with their boat craft, whatever you want to call it, and the guys Tajima and the Air Force show up, and again they're firing missiles at his feet. Come on, what the hell, guys? The missiles don't work, okay? And Kobayashi gets brazen again and starts doing another flyby, and Godzilla just zaps him with his atomic breath. Now, here's the interesting part. Show us the next slide, please. Now, look at Kobayashi. He should be surrounded by flames, burning, but not even a smolder of smoke. Oh, I'm gonna get you. So defiant. But yeah, there should be flames all around him burning that leather jacket. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry.
See, them leather jackets, they're tough.
I gotta call it out when I see it. You know, should, look at the plane shot where it's on. The plane is completely on fire there. That came before the shot. He should be surrounded by flames, but they didn't do it.
They couldn't afford it. It's like, no,
I guess not.
we can't ruin this set.
I guess we're going to use this set in another Godzilla movie. Damn it!
And we got to save the jacket.
We can't burn the actor. Just a little smoke or fire in the background behind him. Just a little flash spot. You know, that's all I want.
But nope.
So Kobayashi goes into the top of the mountain, does a kamikaze into the top of the mountain, and his friend Sugioka watches in terror. Godzilla's doing a little dance. Yeah, that's right. I think yeah. Nah. That was the gopher from Caddyshack. I'm all right. Don't worry about me. I'm in a mood today. So anyway, now look how happy Tajima is. Oh, so now I am your best friend. Look how happy he looks. but there's a reason for him smiling. Again, Tsukioka is aghast. He's like, oh my God, I just lost my best friend. But he's happy because he's watching the ice fall down around Godzilla's ankles and fat legs. Come on, look at those thighs. Anyway.
He's got cankles.
So the ice is falling around him. He goes, hey, that's great. Kobayashi showed us we could just keep shooting at the tops of the mountains and an avalanche will bury the Godzilla. So, yeah, Kobayashi showed him the way. So, because the missiles aren't working on Godzilla. His hide is too tough, damn it. So they just shoot the tops of the mountains with what they've got. Again, they've only got a certain amount of missiles, and they're able to get him up to like his neck. So they got to go back and get more missiles and shit. And the guys in the boats have to set charges there they don't want Godzilla going back into the ocean and getting away. So they got to blow up that and keep Godzilla where he's at so they can bury him in ice. So there it is. So, okay, so they start blasting the mountains and the ice starts falling down. We can go through these kind of quickly. And just like Kobayashi. And there's the ice coming down, and Godzilla's like, and he doesn't know what the hell's going on. And again, he still doesn't fall asleep. He's surrounded by ice. And he still doesn't, he's surrounded by ice, and he still doesn't fall asleep. That would put most snakes out, most reptiles.
Yeah.
Man, that's a tough damn reptile. Now, logic would say, if he's not a dumb animal, hey, why don't I just use my atomic breath to melt this instantly? But he doesn't do it. So we go back to Floyd's office. Father, Kobayashi is dead. Oh, so we had to have that scene. So now the military guys with Ren Yamamoto, they show up and they start setting charges and big barrels of oil on the beach. Can you call that a beach? It's ice. But anyway. On the shore. And Godzilla's about to get his fat ass out of there. Like,
yeah, he's just climbing out of the ice.
Look at that ass. My God. He's about to get his fat butt out of there. And Ren Yamamoto's got a great shot coming up here. Get the hell out of there. There he is.
Yeah.
It's the Godzilla puppet.
Get to the chopper.
That's what he looks like. Oh my God, it's the Godzilla puppet.
Hop to it. Get back to the landing craft.
So they haul ass. I mean, it's like, oh shit, he's almost out. He just got his tail. He's got to get his tail out and he's out. Damn. Blow the charges. So they hustle. They book it. Now, in this scene, you can kind of see that the background is painted. It's not a very good map, but anyway. Looks like the Grinch is home.
What's all that noise down there?
I'm out of the season. I don't know why the reason. So they get in the boats and they start backing up. And Ren Yamamoto is watching, and he orders the order to blow up the buckets of oil. the for lack of a better term, what do they call those? Barrels of oil.
Barrels.
And the Godzilla puppet is angry. And the Godzilla suit is angry. So he doesn't go. Now, again, Godzilla was going towards fire in the early part of the movie, but now he's kind of being repelled by it because it's convenient. Sorry. But that's what it is. Okay, so now Captain not Captain Terasawa, Tajima and his guys are back with more fuel and more missiles. And they do a number on the tops of the mountains. Give him a nice little look over his shoulder. Yeah, take that, bitch.
Yep.
I love that look over the shoulder. That's awesome. Yeah, we're going to freeze your ass. So yeah, they just keep shooting the mountains, and the ice keeps coming down. And Godzilla again, finally uses his fire breath, but to no avail. The ice is coming down too fast. It's big avalanches coming down too fast, and it buries him. And we watch the ice coming around his head. And again, we Sugioka is watching, and tears come to his eyes as he thinks about his friend Kobayashi, who showed him the way. And the guys on the boat are happy. And again, Godzilla, even though he's frozen, I don't know, was his jaw frozen shut? Could he not use the breath to? Anyway, even a dumb animal can probably figure that out. But anyway, and I thought Kobayashi, and he was so beautiful.
My friend Kobayashi. Tears come to my eyes as I think of him. And his sacrifice.
I had to put my goggles on so that I would not be embarrassed in front of Tajima.
I'm not crying.
Yeah.
You are.
My new best friend. And then we have a nice painted shot of the island all covered in snow. And that's it. That's the end.
Well,
so it's the setup for King Kong versus Godzilla, which is one of my favorite Godzilla reveals when he comes out of the iceberg, and the guy goes, "Godzilla! It's Godzilla!"
Yep.
And again, right after that, he comes up out of the sand. We saw that in Mothra versus Godzilla earlier this season. That's a great reveal.
Yeah, that's a great. Yep.
And then it was just meh. The next few films is just like meh. Okay, it's Godzilla. Okay,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's just coming out of the water. It's like, man.
Yeah, not so fancy. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for coming and watching Godzilla Raids Again, first time in color anywhere. The whole thing from beginning to end, with commentary about the lousy American edit. Known as Gigantus the Fire Monster. Actually, they're even calling Gigantus the Fire Monster Godzilla Raids Again now. You pointed that out to me earlier, and that reminded me of that earlier before the show when we were just getting ready.
Yeah.
So that's the official title. Gigantus. What the hell?
Yeah, they just, and you can tell that the title card's all it's just different from everything else.
Could you not afford the name Godzilla? Is that why you had to call it Gigantus? I mean, it was probably one of those things. Oh, we'll call it something else. We'll just call him, I don't know, Gigantus. There we go. And call the other monster Gigantus too. That's what we'll do. So that's another episode, episode 135 of the Big Monster Briefing Room. We have a few movies left of this season, including Horror of Dracula and Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 1970s version with Donald Sutherland and Jeff Goldblum. Yes, it's going to be exciting. Well, wait a minute. No, once we become pods, we're not exciting anymore.
I love what that just gets me crazy. I just love when you're doing that, and it's like Bob Ross said, General, I think you've been hanging out with the rorypenland a bit too much lately. His extraordinary sharp sense of humor is bleeding through into your persona.
He inspires me.
He does inspire
I can do
you.
voices. I can do voices. He inspires me.
I've noticed that. Absolutely. Well, he is.
I've watched these training films dozens of times. Except for what's the one we were talking about before the show that you were like, oh, let's do this one. I'm like, oh, great, another Hell Comes the Frog down.
Spookies. We got to do spookies. We got to do spookies.
We're going to do spookies.
We really want to go there. We want to do it.
When we're going to do it, I'm not sure because I've got 12 seasons planned out already. But again, poor Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde.
That's a good one.
And it keeps getting bumped. Maybe we'll see. If it's really fun if I think it's going to be as fun as Hell Comes to the Frog Town, which was a fun show. I mean, that last week's show, if you didn't see it, go back and watch it because we were really fit to be tied on that show. It was such a stinker. And again, so enjoyable because it was such a stinker. And so we had a good time with it and a lot of fun, that show. That's probably my top 5 of the shows.
Absolutely a top 5 for me. That and
you love
Tarantula.
that
I love that movie. I love Tarantula. I thought that the Clint Eastwood stuff was fantastic. Yeah,
the Killer Giant Spider.
Absolutely.
I can do voices. I can.
You see?
Storytelling doesn't have to be here. I can do the voices.
That's
You
right.
can't even stop it. You can't even stop. You're like you're on a roll.
It's like eating potato chips.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, we got a lot of good stuff coming up in the next few weeks, and then we start season 6. Believe it or not, we've already made it to season 6. Man, oh man, this has been a long, wonderful ride. Thank you, Hazzard, and thank you, Havoc, for helping me get through this. And
absolutely, positively.
And again, a lot of fun watching Godzilla Raids Again in color for the first time.
Yeah.
Please tell all your friends to join our channel. Give us the likes. We like the likes on YouTube. I've finally gotten around to actually asking people to link up to us and give us likes. I mean, we got to
do it. We got to link. You got to link.
Everybody else does it. I got to do it.
You got to subscribe to the YouTube Cosmos Creative TV. I think a lot of times myself, I love all these channels, and then I look and I have never subscribed. You got to hit the subscribe button. You got to subscribe.
Who we mentioned has his own talk show. They do a show called Two Guys and a Gal Talking About Movies, which is a lot of fun. They talk about different movies, different kinds of movies, different actors, actresses, directors, and whatnot, and very knowledgeable on the subject.
Very knowledgeable.
Again, the shows are fun to watch. So definitely, if you are not signed up for Cosmos Creative TV on YouTube, you should check that channel out. And again, that's where all of our videos, our 135 episodes of the Big Monster Reefing Room are.
They're all there. All there. Thank you. You see, look, the Cadet Ross he said he subscribed on YouTube. No, you don't need to watch it there if you don't want to. It's okay. But it's so great that you subscribed. I just love that you subscribed. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And give us likes. Go back and watch the old shows. Give us likes. If you watch those, I want more views. We've got a movie. We did King Kong versus Godzilla, and it got 6,000 views because everybody likes King Kong versus Godzilla today. The new one. So they're going and checking it out. And again, all you got to do is go in for like 1 minute and watch the video, and boom, we got another view. So there's a lot of other Godzilla. We've done a lot of other Godzilla movies from the old Showa days, from the Heisei. The Heisei. We're going to start doing some newer Godzilla films. I want to do a Shin Godzilla in the very near future. We may even do Godzilla -1 in the very near future. I'm not colorizing it. I don't have to. There's a color version and a black and white version. Silly me. I state the obvious. And I thought to myself, there must be a black and white version of this film. Bad.
Bad. That's just bad.
Thank you again. Just wasting time now. I'm just happy to be somewhere doing something creative. So that puppet with the white eyes, the Godzilla puppet with the white eyes. Oh man, a face that only a mother could love. I got it in there.
You got it in there last. You've been going in under the wire. You always cause the suspense. You cause the tension. You make me crazy. I'm like pulling on my hair, saying, when is he going to say it? He's going to forget to say it. Oh my gosh. It's crazy.
Going to say between an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh my goodness gracious! It's so much suspense. I can't even handle it. I'm going to.
Well, the poster you showed me for Spookies. That's a face that only a mother can love. He looks like the fan.
That's very much so. We're all going to go watch Spookies, and it's on Tubi.
We're going to watch Spookies this week. We're going to do it this season, or we're going to do it down the line.
That's right. And
I have a feeling I'm going to bump
something
you this season.
Yes, and thank you to Patty.
There is a movie that I've been wanting to do a long time, and I'm not going to say what it is now because I got a feeling I'm going to bump that one. It's not in the opening credits. So I'm going to bump that one because I've said Dr. Jekyll's Sister Hyde like a dozen times now. So people are like, "Oh, do it, damn it, just do the movie." So we're probably going to do that one this season. But the other film will have to wait till next season. All right, I've yammered on enough. Keep an eye
Okay,
out for
but
those
I
big
wanted to
monsters.
give a shout out to I wanted to give a shout out to Cadet Bernard. She's got her own show on Cosmos,
Oh,
and you got to go see it. You call her Patty. You know, it's Crafting with Patty, and you can watch that on the YouTube too, or on the
and
Facebook
Sandy
page.
D. Sandy D's got a show too, a couple of
Yep.
shows. She got Getting Salty with Sandy D, where she talks about surfing.
Yeah.
If you're a surfing enthusiast. She also has
Absolutely.
No Icing with Dritta, sometimes Sandy.
That's
That's
true.
another talk show that's a lot of fun. She gets good guests on that show.
Very much
Yeah.
so. You see, so you gotta tune in for Sandy D and for Patty
Yep.
and for all the different shows we got out here.
And if you go back into the archive, go watch Tom Cheshire Burn It Down. That's
Burn
a
it
good show.
down. Yeah.
That's a
Yep.
great show. So, all right.
Absolutely, Burn It Down is like, oh my gosh, so amazing too. I love Tom
And
Cheshire.
the woman who did our theme song, Diane Marie Call, she's all over this stuff. She's on these shows all the time. She's a very, very talented lady.
Yeah,
Sweet
she's
lady,
even
too.
she even had two of her
She's
own
got a
shows.
show.
So you
She's
got to
like
just
Howard.
go back into the YouTube and go down, and there's so much content. It's
There's
amazing
so
stuff.
many
You got to go in there.
interesting
You gotta
shows. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Check us out. We're a good
Hours
show.
and hours of
And-
fun and entertainment.
Yes, and didn't cost us a dime.
That's right.
We created all of this, and it didn't cost us anything. We're just giving our time for the sake of your entertainment.
That's right. See,
I'll drink to that. Keep an eye out for those big monsters.